Welcome to Everyday Parenting, a down to earth podcast presented by Bricks and Blocks Coaching. Tune in as we dive into the real life experiences of parents. Today, we are joined by two wonderful parents, Johnny and Neha. They're here to share their experiences and insights on managing two twins. Hi, Johnny. Hi, Neha.
Hey Sweta and
Hi
Neha.
Shweta. Hi Johnny.
Hi, would you like to introduce yourself as a parent, Johnny?
So my name is Johnny. I'm a parent of twins, boy girl. They will be turning 3 pretty much in a month's time, so mid-August. And it's been such a wild ride for that whole time. Sharing the experiences with my partner and our children. And look forward to this discussion. Yes.
Neha, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi Shweta. So my partner and I, we have two kids as well. They're not biologically twins per se, but they are something closer to Irish twins or two under two. Both are boys. They are 3.5 and 5.5 years now. And I would love to share the unique challenges of not being a twin, but also not having big enough a age gap apart. So how the blend comes in and
Mm.
how intense it's been last few years.
Yeah, so it must be quite challenging bringing up kids so close in age together, literally the same day, right, Johnny? So, what are the challenges that you face when you bring up these two kids together?
I recall during the initial stages as newborns, we wanted to get them on the same schedule just because, given that from a feeding perspective, we didn't want to stagger the feeding. It would also cut into our time where, it's so crucial to have some rest in between, like every couple hours you have to wake up and feed them. So we definitely wanted to get on the same schedule. I think we were alternating between breastfeeding and bottle feeding. In the end, it ended up being more bottle feeding just from a production standpoint, which was beneficial. So then the share of that feeding timing was able to be done with, whether it's myself or my partner. Mm.
Hey, Neha, how about you? You have two boys very close in age.
Yes. So whereas just this topic, let's say feeding. When I was still feeding my first one, I didn't have a definite time when I would wean him off. 12 months, 15 months, 18 months. But so happened that I was expecting the second one when the first one was about 14 months. So the natural weaning happened in terms of biologically. In terms of raising them, again, it feels like a very extended baby and toddler phase because, for example, when I'm still breastfeeding the first one when he's 1 month or 2 months old, the second one is not even two yet either. So he's still also learning to feed. So it was very intense, and how we managed to cope was that my partner and I, we really had to split teams and take turns. And obviously biologically I had to do the feeding, so my partner had to over index on the elder child because there's just no way around it. And he hasn't weaned off diapers. The second one has entered the diaper phase. So whether it's sleep training, sleep routines, bedtime routines, it's feeding, introducing to solids, helping them learn to eat. In every aspect that you need to teach them independence, which takes time, it just felt like a really long stretch of time because you can't do it together either. At the same time, they're in very different phases. So they're both still learning and still need a lot of hand holding.
Okay. So, if so, right, like you're literally bringing up the two kids together, but every child is really different. So, how do you ensure that their own independent personalities get nurtured?
Oh yeah, okay. So in terms of nurturing, again, like because of the personalities and interests, so one method we try to do is like have separate date days. So like I'll take my son out for a day and like we'll do the things that interest him, and then like we'll switch, and then my wife will take the other one out. Like we just alternate. I think that gives a lot of that one-to-one time attention when usually because they're together so much and because we're looking after them together so much, it gives that extra attention that they crave, and then gives that ability to bond with you as well. So then you get special moments with each one, for yourself and with them. That usually is working quite well for us.
Neha, in your case, right, it feels like the elder one was having a lot more attention from the dad, and the younger one was having a lot more attention from you. But then you're both parents of both the kids. So, how do you ensure that, both of you get equal time with each of the child?
No, you're absolutely right. It was challenging. In fact, I remember when the elder one, about 2.5, when he started speaking like in sentences, he actually told me, "Mama, you don't love me." Right? And obviously he felt that way because he saw that I was feeding my younger one round the clock. That's just how he was. As it is, the younger one is consuming so much of my time. I had to make sure I was giving the rest of my time to the elder one. Similarly, for my husband, the challenge was that there's not much he could do with the younger one. The younger one was always clinging to me. So we consciously tried, like Johnny said, to, I would be heavily involved as much as I could in the pick and drop of my elder one, taking him out for play dates, for classes. And, my husband would try to do as much of the bathing and, taking out for stroller walks as he could, given time permitting with work, etc. So we were very conscious of the needs of both of them.
And I have an additional to that. I have the opposite effect actually. So currently, I'm the favorite parent, so they're quite clingy to me. And it's that stereotype of like when the mom is pretty much for the majority like the one that's giving with them all the time actually, because the dad usually in this scenario is like working, not home as often. But then in for the interim, they're quite clingy to me. So even in the morning, they'll, because they sleep in the same room in the nursery. Whoever opens the door, if it's me, they'll come and hug me. If it's mom, they'll come to our master bedroom and look for me. So it's interesting to see that effect currently, but I know that that's not going to be forever too, right? So trying to manage that to make sure that there's balance in understanding, both your parents love you and show you the same attention and timing and affection. Yeah.
One more thing that happened, I noticed once I managed to finally wean off this younger one, then there was a very discernible shift in my attention towards the elder one. Because the younger one was, his personality wise, he's less clingy. And it gave me a lot of space, thankfully, to over-index now myself on the elder one. So I felt like I was sort of, in my own way, maybe of my mommy guilt, making up for him. So I try to make up in that way. Now they're both competing for the same attention because now they're old enough to voice it out. They both have their individual classes, their toys, their games, their needs. So now I'm feeling probably what Johnny has faced since the start.
Yeah. So then that leads us, nicely into our next segment. Do you face the sibling rivalry between the two kids, Neha?
I do, and it's gone in phases. It's not been constant. I think because the younger child, when the younger child came along, the first one was again not even 2, so he couldn't really comprehend what happened, and he treated a younger baby as his toy. Literally, he would say his baby a toy. When the baby became about a yearish old, he became a lot more interesting as a playmate, from being a helpless baby to a playmate. So they started bonding a bit. So it's gone in phases. Now there is a lot of rivalry to compete for attention. Every morning starts with them fighting over who is hugging mama, kissing mama first. And they do compete a lot. If I take the elder one for a class birthday or play date, the younger one says, "Mama, why you didn't take me?" Vice versa. So it's come back to the same point where, again, within our ecosystem, we really have to strike a balance and take those hits where we know one may be upset with the parent or the other, and try to make up for it, be it in the activities, be it in the toys, taking the one-on-one grocery trips, just for very interactive engagement.
Twins, it must be even more challenging, right, Johnny?
I mean, they were competing for space in the womb, right? So I remember some of the scans where they would be in a bunk bed mode, but laid in the womb, or they're are pressing against. So it's whoever's at the front, or there was times when the son's bum was up here or and such. So I think they're competing from the start. There is rivalry when they fight for our attention, but I think that's pretty standard and normal. Because anything with that, we just try to divert it to the right direction. So say if it's I want this food, or but I want this food, or then we'll just mix and match. So because even food wise, they might have different tastes. So one might like broccoli and one might like potato more, and we're serving them the same things. So I think that adds to the sharing component and the ability to be flexible to suit their friendly competition. Yeah. So it's been like that, and it's been quite good.
Have you started hearing these things like "Daddy, you love me more," or "Mommy, you love me more"?
No, so not at that stage yet. I think it's a good thing, but I do find it endearing because when they do reference daddy and mummy, it's always quite communal. So we'll go through daddy, mummy, and then the son and the daughter. So they'll always reference each other. They'll never leave each other out. So I guess that's opposite to rivalry. still times where like I want to hold daddy's hands, and then I'll have both hands, and then my wife will just be like, ha ha ha, like free. So it just depends on the scenario, but like generally, the bond is there, and it's friendly competition. Yeah.
If I can add, while rivalry obviously comes up and is very intense and real, the benefits I am starting to see now. The benefit I see is that I get a lot of feedback from his teachers that he's very comforting, like an elder brother to all the kids in his class who are a bit younger than him. And I can see while my younger son, his personality is a lot calmer. He didn't naturally enjoy outdoors as much. My elder one is completely outdoorsy, physical activities only. He doesn't sit down for Legos or anything at all. They are sort of starting to rub off on each other. The younger one is going for karate because he sees elder one going for karate. Younger one picked up cycling by just purely by copying, like you said, mimicking monkey see, monkey do the elder one. So while they will fight, they are each other's playmates. And when we moved countries, like, it took us time to build an ecosystem slowly. It was a blessing to have the close age gap. They were each other's natural besties and playmates. So that really you could see that, okay, there's also that blessing that's coming out, which we really cherish and appreciate it.
Yeah, that's actually nice, right? When they are closer to each other, they have each other to look forward to and each other to support. So that's actually
Hmm.
a much bigger advantage than the rivalry aspect that we were talking about.
Uh,
It's just that you take a few years to see that. The first few years are just like, oh my God, what have I done?
yeah, I think for my situation, because like they're pretty much the same, like they came out together. I think one good thing that I've seen, like opposite to Neha, in terms of like when you take one of the kids to the party and such, and then they have that understanding and like a sense of missing, when they come back home, it's like, oh, how was it, like just having that bond helps in that sense too. So yeah, opposite of rivalry, but like also like understanding and compassion, like when or the reflection. So like when we have our separate date days, they'll be like, I did this. I had ice cream with dad, and we went to the play center or something, and then I went to the walking track with mom. So like there's good reflection out of it too.
At any point, did you feel like, what have we done?
The first 3.5 years, absolutely. I actually felt pretty guilty about having such a young age gap. And I had heard of the benefits, but they always come much later. So on a day to day, when you're non-stop just feeding a child or managing the tantrums of a barely 2-year-old who's learning his own maturity, it really, I was ridden with a lot of guilt the first 3 years. Only now I'm like, okay, maybe it's not that bad.
As we come to the close of our podcast, is there anything that you would like to give in terms of tips to other parents who are having these close age gap or twins?
I think the scheduling component is quite important as much as possible. Just so again, like it's that breathing space to give you and your partner the time to rest, because you can't just do it 24 hours or like do it alone. So I guess like having that balance usually helps quite well. And I think it's that separation piece, because it's the distance makes the heart grow fonder piece too. So there's an appreciation of each of the family members versus having to keep them together at all times. So I think that's a future consideration, like as we go into like the preschool and schooling years, like, but definitely yeah, scheduling and time, because time management is so crucial and important. Like, even hearing like Nia's side of like having like two so close together, like it's the only time we have, to try to make the most, like in try to raise them as best as we can. So I think time management is very important.
Yeah, true. Time management is extremely critical, Johnny. Neha, what's your advice to other parents?
So adding on to what he said, I won't repeat that bit. For kids, where the age gap is close again, I think you can never give enough attention to the elder child. It just plays out because as long as you're taking care of the biological needs of the younger one, actually most of the time it's really okay if you don't do the bonding activities of the younger one. The younger one is automatically getting a lot of attention from the ecosystem in a way. The elder one does generally feel left out or upset and neglected. It's very real. I've so far yet to see a case even in my circle where it doesn't happen. Try to be as conscious as you can of what his or her needs are. Letting them play, letting a bit of rough housing happen. They need to feel involved. They need to feel almost as if it's their baby. I feel that's the best way. to manage the early emotions, as else it gets very challenging for both the parent and the child. That's the best way to navigate intensity.
Actually, building on top of that, the other additional tip I think is just like challenge yourself at each of your own, like challenging yourself to like, I want to go take them for a walk, just in your vicinity or your neighborhood. Make some time for yourself to just even go for a walk. Try doing the things that you usually do. So like a quick shop, quick walk around the mall, quick walk around the park with them. Because eventually, like you just do that little by little, and you build that confidence as a new parent.
Yeah, absolutely, Johnny. I mean, that leads to the end of it, right? And this is the philosophy of this podcast as well, that we bring out these everyday parenting experiences. Even though you do read about it, you do prepare yourself, and until and unless you go through that experience yourself and you build that confidence within yourself, you can't ace this parenting game. So absolutely in line with what our philosophy is. Thank you so much, Johnny and Neha, for sharing your experiences. It's been wonderful having you today on our podcast.
Well, thank you for having us so much, Rita.
Thank you, Shweta.
Thank you, Johnny.
Thank you, Neha. It's been great.
Before we wrap up, don't forget to check the show notes in the episode description for extra parenting resources. We'd love to hear your stories, so reach out to us at bricksandblockscoaching.com. Thank you for tuning in today. I'm Shweta, and this is Everyday Parenting. See you next time.